September 23rd, 1942, 4:17 in the morning, Stalingrad. Private Yakov Pavlov wakes up in a basement that smells like death and realizes everyone else is gone. The house is silent, too silent. 3 hours ago, there were 42 Soviet soldiers holding this building. Pavlov was on basement guard duty, the worst assignment. While everyone else fought on the upper floors with windows and sightlines and escape routes, Pavlov sat in the dark with rats and corpses and the creeping certainty that he'd been forgotten. He fell asleep at 3:15, a mistake, maybe his last. Now he's awake, and the house is empty, and he can hear boots, German boots, dozens of them, moving through the rubble outside. Surrounding the building, Pavlov climbs the basement stairs. Slowly, the wooden steps creak. He reaches the ground floor. Bodies everywhere. Soviet bodies. His comrades. Dead. All of them. He moves to the window. Peers through a crack in the sandbags. The street outside is gray in the pre-dawn light. And moving. German infantry. 200 of them. Maybe more. Spreading out. Taking positions. Setting up machine guns. They're not attacking yet. They're preparing. They think the house is abandoned. They're wrong. Pavlov is still here. One man, 23 years old, from a village outside Novgorod that doesn't exist anymore. The Germans burned it in 1941, killed his parents, his sister, everyone. Pavlov joined the Red Army 4 months later, got handed a Mosin Nagant rifle, and sent to Stalingrad. He's been here 3 weeks. And now he's alone in a house, surrounded by 200 Germans who are about to discover he exists. He could run. There's a back exit, a hole in the wall leading to rubble. He could crawl through. Make it 50 meters before they see him. Maybe. He doesn't run. Because a running means the Germans take the house. Therefore, they get clear shots at the Volga River bank 200 meters away. Therefore, the supply boats bringing food and ammunition become target. Practice. Therefore, thousands of Soviet soldiers starve. Therefore, Stalingrad falls. Pavlov stays, goes back to the basement, gathers what's left. 4 Mosin Nagant rifles from dead men, 80 rounds total, 3 grenades, 1 anti-tank mine, a bayonet, a half-full canteen. That's everything. That's all he has to hold a 3-story building against 200 German soldiers. The Germans attack at 4:23. Pavlov hears them before he sees them, shouting in German. Boots on the front steps. He's in the basement, pressed against the wall beside the stairwell. The first German appears at the top. Helmet. Rifle. Cautious. He doesn't see Pavlov. Therefore he takes another step. Therefore he enters the kill zone. Pavlov fires. The Mosin kicks. The German falls backward, dead. His body tumbles down the stairs. The second German appears. Sees his dead comrade, sees Pavlov, raises his rifle. Pavlov fires again. The second German drops. Now they know. Someone is in the basement, shooting, killing. They start yelling. A grenade comes down the stairs. Pavlov sees it bounce. He grabs the anti-tank mine, throws it up. The grenade explodes. The mine clangs on the floor above, doesn't explode. The Germans scatter. Think it's another grenade. 30 seconds pass. They realize it's a dud. Therefore, they get brave. Therefore, 3 of them rush the stairs together, firing. Bullets punch through wood. Splinters explode. Pavlov is behind the wall. They miss. The Germans reach the bottom. Pavlov steps out. Bayonet first. The first German takes the blade in the stomach. Pavlov twists. Pulls out. The second German raises his rifle. Pavlov is faster. Bayonet to the throat. The third German fires. The bullet grazes Pavlov's left arm. Burns. Pavlov doesn't stop. Bayonet forward. The German falls. 5 Germans dead in 3 minutes. The rest pull back. Regroup. Pavlov reloads. His hands are shaking now. Not from fear. From adrenaline. From the knowledge that he just killed 5 men and 200 more are waiting. 4:41. The Germans try a different approach. They don't rush the basement. They throw grenades. 6 of them. One after another. Down the stairs. Into the darkness. Pavlov hears them coming. Hears the metallic clank. He counts the seconds. Explosion. The blast wave slaps him. Dirt rains from the ceiling. Another explosion. Another. 6 total. The basement fills with smoke and dust. Pavlov's ears are ringing. His left arm is bleeding where the bullet grazed him. He tears a strip from a dead German's uniform, wraps the wound, ties it with his teeth. The Germans are shouting again, closer now. They think the grenades killed him. They're coming down to check. Pavlov moves to the opposite corner of the basement, picks up the second rifle, aims at the stairs, waits. 2 Germans appear, moving fast, rifles up, scanning. They see the bodies of their comrades. Don't see Pavlov in the shadows. He fires. First German down. Second German spins toward the muzzle flash, fires blind. His bullets hit the wall 3 feet left of Pavlov. Pavlov fires again. Second German falls. 7 dead. The Germans above are screaming now. Orders, panic, confusion. One voice cuts through. An officer, calm, authoritative. The shooting stops. The Germans pull back. Silence. Pavlov knows what's coming next. They're going to collapse the building. Artillery, tanks, something big. He has maybe 5 minutes before they bring the house down on top of him. He needs a new position. If you're wondering how one man survives this, hit that like button right now, because what Pavlov does next is the only reason this story exists. And if you want to hear more stories like this, real Soviet combat stories that most people never learn about, subscribe. What happens in the next 4 hours will change everything. 5:03. The Germans bring up a Panzer. Pavlov hears the engine, the grinding treads, the mechanical scream of a tank moving through rubble. He's back on the ground floor now, positioned behind what's left of a brick wall. The Panzer stops 30 meters from the house. Its turret rotates, aims at the front entrance. Pavlov has 1 anti-tank mine left. He crawls to the front entrance, places the mine in the doorway, covers it with debris, makes it look like collapsed ceiling. The Panzer fires. The shell hits the second floor. The explosion is deafening. Half the ceiling comes down. Dust and brick and wood splinters fill the air. Pavlov is buried under debris. Can't breathe. Can't see. He claws his way out. Gasps for air. The Panzer fires again. 3rd floor this time. The house is coming apart. But the Panzer crew is getting confident. Therefore they move closer. Therefore they want to see their handiwork. Therefore the tank rolls forward, treads crunching over rubble. Closer, closer. The front of the Panzer enters the building through the destroyed entrance. The mine detonates. The explosion lifts the front of the tank. The treads spin uselessly. The Panzer is stuck, half in the building, half out. The crew is screaming inside. Pavlov doesn't waste time. He grabs a grenade, runs to the tank. The hatch is opening. A German tanker is trying to climb out. Pavlov pulls the pin, drops the grenade through the hatch, runs. The explosion is muffled. Internal, the screaming stops. 8 Germans dead, 1 tank destroyed. But now the house is half collapsed, and Pavlov is trapped inside, with nowhere to go. 5:37. Pavlov is back in the basement, the only part of the house still intact. The stairs are gone now, blown apart by the tank shell. He's trapped. The only way out is through the hole in the back wall. The same hole he could have used to escape 4 hours ago. He looks at it, looks at the gray light coming through. Freedom, survival, life. All he has to do is crawl. But if he leaves, the Germans take the position. Therefore the Volga is exposed. Therefore the supply line is cut. Therefore Stalingrad falls. Pavlov knows the math. His life versus thousands, 1 versus many. The equation is simple. Butte equations don't care about the voice in your head screaming to run. Don't care about the pain in your arm. Don't care that you're 23 years old and you've already seen everyone you love die, and now you're going to die alone in a basement in a city that's nothing but rubble and corpses. Pavlov doesn't run, he stays. Because his sergeant said staying is what soldiers do. Because his parents and sister died and running won't bring them back. Because someone has to hold the line. Might as well be him. He takes inventory. 1 rifle, 40 rounds left, 2 grenades, the bayonet. That's it. No food, no water. The canteen is empty. He drank the last of it an hour ago. His arm throbs. The bleeding has stopped, but the wound is dirty. Probably infected. Doesn't matter. Infection takes days to kill you. The Germans will be faster. 6:12. The Germans send in infantry. No tanks, no artillery, just men. They're being careful now. They know someone is still alive in the rubble. Someone dangerous. They approach from 3 sides. Pavlov can hear them through the walls. Footsteps, whispers. He positions himself in the corner with the best sightlines. Aims at the largest hole in the wall. Waits. A German appears. Silhouette against the gray morning light. Pavlov fires. The German falls. Another appears. Pavlov fires. Misses. The German ducks back. Pavlov hears orders being shouted. They're surrounding the basement. Closing in. He has maybe 20 rounds left. Not enough. Not nearly enough. 7:04. The Germans try smoke. They throw smoke grenades through the holes in the walls. The basement fills with thick gray smoke. Pavlov can't see, can't breathe. His eyes are burning. His lungs are screaming. He pulls his shirt over his mouth, breathes through the fabric. Doesn't help much. He hears movement. Germans entering through the smoke. He fires blind. Hears a scream. Fires again. Nothing. Reload. His hands are shaking. The smoke is so thick he can't see the rifle in his hands. A shape moves to his left. He swings the rifle. Bayonet forward. Connects. A German screams. Pavlov pulls the bayonet out. Stabs again. The German stops screaming. Another shape. Another stab. Another body. The smoke is starting to clear. Pavlov sees 3 German bodies at his feet. He sees 5 more Germans at the far end of the basement, staring at him. This small Soviet soldier, covered in blood and dust, standing over their dead comrades. One of them raises his rifle. Pavlov is faster. Fires. The German falls. The other 4 scatter. Run back through the holes they came from. 15 Germans dead now. Pavlov has 11 rounds left. 8:26. Pavlov hasn't moved in 40 minutes. He's slumped against the basement wall. His arm is numb. His vision is blurry. He hasn't eaten in 2 days. Hasn't slept in 36 hours except for that one fatal hour when his unit abandoned the house. The basement reeks of blood and smoke and cordite and death. German bodies. Soviet bodies. They're starting to smell. Pavlov doesn't notice anymore. The Germans are still out there. He can hear them. Talking. Planning. They've stopped attacking because they've lost too many men. Therefore they're waiting. Therefore they think time is on their side. They're right. Pavlov is dying. Not from bullets. From exhaustion. From dehydration. From blood loss. His body is shutting down. He knows this. Knows he has maybe 2 hours left before he's too weak to fight. 9:07. Pavlov hears something different. Not German voices. Russian voices. Faint. Distant. Coming from the direction of the Volga. Reinforcements. A Soviet patrol probing the German lines. Testing. Looking for weak points. They're 300 meters away. Too far to help. But they're coming closer. The Germans hear them too. They start repositioning. Moving to intercept. Which means they're pulling men away from the house. Which means Pavlov's job is almost done. He just has to hold a little longer. Just a little longer. His vision goes dark. Comes back. Goes dark again. He's passing out. He bites his tongue. Hard. The pain brings him back. Tastes blood. Stays awake. 9:41. The Germans make one final push. They know the Soviet patrol is coming. They need to take the house now. Secure their position before reinforcements arrive. 20 Germans rush the basement. All at once. From every hole. Every gap. Pavlov sees them coming. Raises his rifle. Fires. 1 down. 2 down. 3 down. The rifle clicks empty. He drops it. Grabs the last grenade. Pulls the pin. Throws it into the mass of Germans. Explosion. Screams. 4 more down. The remaining Germans are on him now. Bayonets. Fists. Boots. Pavlov fights. Punches. Kicks. Bites. A rifle butt hits his face. His nose breaks. Blood fills his mouth. A German tries to bayonet him. Pavlov grabs the blade. It cuts into his palm. Doesn't matter. He holds it. Twists. Breaks the German's grip. Takes the rifle. Bayonet forward. The German falls. Another German tackles him. They go down together, rolling, fighting. The German's hands are around Pavlov's throat. Squeezing, Pavlov's vision goes dark. This is it. This is how he dies. Strangled in a basement in Stalingrad. Alone. Forgotten. His hand finds something. A brick. He swings it. Connects with the German's skull. The hands release. The German falls sideways. Doesn't move. Pavlov stands. Barely. 8 Germans are left. They're staring at him. This Soviet soldier who won't die, who's killed 23 of their comrades in 6 hours. Who's covered in blood and broken and still standing. One of the Germans raises his hands, surrenders. The others follow. 8 Germans surrendering to one half-dead Soviet private. Pavlov doesn't accept. Can't accept. He doesn't have the strength to guard prisoners. He points at the hole in the wall. The exit. They understand. They run. disappear into the rubble. Pavlov collapses, sits down hard, his back against the wall. He's done, finished, no more strength, no more fight. If more Germans come, they'll find him sitting here, dead or dying, doesn't matter which. 1:13 in the afternoon, 9 hours after the Germans first attacked, Pavlov wakes up to Russian voices. Soviet soldiers entering the basement, a full platoon, 40 men, led by a lieutenant who stares at the scene. 15 German bodies, 3 Soviet bodies. One man sitting in the corner covered in blood. The lieutenant approaches, asks Pavlov his name. Pavlov tries to answer. Can't. His throat is too damaged. The lieutenant sees the defensive position, the empty shell casings, the blood. He understands what happened here. One man held this basement for 9 hours. Against how many? Pavlov holds up 2 fingers, then makes a circle with both hands. 200. The lieutenant doesn't believe him, checks the bodies, counts the German dead inside, sends scouts outside. They report back. More German bodies in the street, in the rubble, 47 total. One man killed 47 Germans and drove off the rest. The medic treats Pavlov's wounds, broken nose, shattered hand, deep cuts, severe dehydration, blood loss, infection. The medic says Pavlov needs a hospital, evacuation across the Volga. Pavlov refuses, shakes his head, points at the house. The lieutenant understands. Pavlov isn't leaving. This is his house now. He held it. It's his. The platoon stays. Reinforces the position. Brings sandbags, ammunition, food, water, more men. Over the next 2 months, Pavlov's house becomes a fortress. 58 days. The Germans attack it 92 times. Never take it. Pavlov fights in every defense, refuses evacuation, refuses rotation. This is his house. The place where he decided dying was better than running, the place where 47 Germans learned that sometimes one man is enough. But here's what they don't tell you. Pavlov survives the battle, survives the war, goes home in 1946, back to the village that doesn't exist, to the family that's dead. He tries to rebuild, can't. The hand that gripped the German bayonet never works right again. The throat that was strangled can't speak above a whisper. The mind that held a basement for 9 hours can't sleep without seeing German faces. He tries factory work, can't hold a job, tries farming, can't grip a tool, tries drinking. That works better, for a while, until it doesn't. In 1953, Yakov Pavlov walks into a forest outside Novgorod, the same forest where he played as a child. He doesn't walk out. They find him 3 days later, hanging from a tree, a note in his pocket. 8 words in shaky handwriting. I held the basement. Who holds me now? The Soviet Union gives him a medal posthumously, the Order of the Red Star, for exceptional courage in the defense of Stalingrad. They name the house after him officially. Pavlov's house, a landmark, a symbol, a reminder that sometimes one man holding one position can change the course of history. But they don't put the suicide in the history books. Therefore, most people think Pavlov died a hero's death in Stalingrad. Therefore, they never learn the real cost. That surviving the battle doesn't mean surviving the war. That holding the line for 9 hours means holding the nightmares forever. That the Germans never took Pavlov's house, but they took Pavlov anyway, just took him slower. If this story affected you, if you understand that sacrifice doesn't end when the shooting stops, subscribe right now. Hit that subscribe button because these are the stories that matter. The ones that show the real cost. Not just the battle, not just the numbers, but what happens after. When the cameras leave, and the medals are given, and the soldier goes home to a world that doesn't understand what he held in that basement. Yakov Pavlov held Stalingrad, and Stalingrad never let him go. Would you have stayed in that basement, knowing what it would cost? Knowing that survival might be worse than dying? Leave your answer in the comments. Because that's the question Pavlov asked himself every day for 7 years after the battle, and the answer destroyed him.